Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Welcome back. We are so glad to be back to the evening session. And I just want you to quickly sit down, or before you do, maybe you need to grab a drink so that you don't have any need to stand up again. So we've got our 10. Oh, welcome back, Patience. Thank you so much for coming back. Please do well to share. Just keep sharing and sharing. What are your expectations today, this evening? And also, what are you hoping that you're going to go away with today? What are you hoping that you're going to leave here with? Our teenage, Ivade Eden, welcome. So, please just keep sharing, share with friends. Our teenagers are here. They are going to be speaking. And because of the sensitivity, they are not going to turn on their camera. So we're just going to have it like that to get them to be able to speak without any fear of judgments. So please, let's be kind. Let's pay attention. We are here to learn from them. So I am going to start in a minute, but I need to just pull my questions up. And then we're going to get started. Here we go. So let's have them. I'm going to be adding them to the stage. Team 1, you're welcome. Team 2, you're welcome. Team 3, you are welcome. Team 4, you are very welcome. Let's do well to keep sharing and just keep sharing with people. Keep sharing and sharing and sharing. It is so important that we just keep sharing with different people. So, welcome. You can unmute so that when I'm talking, you'll be able to respond things. You can unmute. So, the first question that I am going to be asking you, because I want us to have enough time to speak to you, is what are the psychological impacts of moving from one place to another? Now, it might be maybe you move from one country to another. It might be you move from one school to another. It might be you transition from primary school to secondary school. What are the psychological impacts that you feel you and your peers, go through? I'm going to target that to teen 1.
Hi. So I think that when you move around a lot, you feel quite unstable. At sometimes like, you don't have a home base. Like when people are talking about where they grew up and their home city, you can't really say, "Oh, I grew up here," because you moved around so much. And
Yeah.
also, people feel quite anxious about starting over, like over and over again.
Mhm.
It kind of like starts anxiety in people. Like you start to worry about, "Oh, I have to make new friends. I've left all my old friends. I have to make new friends now." You struggle a lot with like identity and belonging.
Mm.
Um, you quite struggle with finding out who you are. People get into identity crisis, and
Yeah.
it's quite hard to build long-term friendships because then you'll just feel like every time you make friends, you're gonna leave them and like lose them. So that's what I
Yeah.
think.
Thank you so much. That is really awesome. So I'm going to move on to thing 2. What is it like for you? Same question as well. What was it like for you? Moving from one school to another, from one stage to another. What are the psychological impacts on you?
I'd say that it was quite like overwhelming at first because it was like different from how most people were that you grew up with, and then when you like leave them and then change to like another school, people like you never met before. So I'd say
Mhm.
it was strange at first, but then I kind of got used to it.
Right. Did that impact you in any way in terms of your education? Did that have any impact?
Um,
Or maybe your friends? Did that impact your friends? If not you, did you notice?
I didn't really like speak to any of my friends from my old school as much as I did when I saw them. And
Yeah.
then with school, I was learning like different parts. So I was doing different subjects than what I was doing when I was in my old school. So I had to like
Mm,
catch up with everyone.
right. Thank you very much. So, team 3, what about you? How did moving from one school to another, how did it impact you psychologically or maybe your friends or people that you know?
Well, it impacted me by like how if I was going to make friends, if they're going to judge me of who I was, and if I would know anyone there. That's like the first few days, I didn't really talk to anyone. I didn't really, I wasn't really noticeable because I wanted to just see how they wanted, like how they acted. So I didn't really talk to anyone. I didn't see any of my friends. So it impacted me by feeling like I was going to be judged about who I was.
Did that make you scared?
A little and nervous about if they're going to like see me for who I was.
Yeah. Right. Thank you very much for sharing. And team 4, can you share yours, please?
I think it causes a lot of anxiety and stress even before you make the move. If you know it's going to happen, then you're worried about whether or not you're going to fit in there or what you're going to change by yourself. Because I feel like when you have friends in one place, you're happy with them, you can do what you want. But you're moving to another place, you're wondering, will they find the way I speak weird or the way I look weird?
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I can see, that uncertainty, a bit of anxiety, a bit of worry as well is a very common thing amongst all of you. Thank you for sharing that. Now, what are your challenges? I'm going to ask all of you this as well. What are your challenges, the challenges that teens or children face in school when trying to make friends after transitioning to a new school? I will start with you, 10-4.
I would say that it's mainly the fact that everyone already has their own groups already. Like when you go somewhere new, even when you're just going from primary school to high school, a lot of people have lived in the same area and stuff like that. So if you're going to a place that's far away or you don't really know many people there, most people already live near each other. They already go to clubs together. They have their settlements, and then you go in and you're not sure which group exactly fits you the best or if any of them will accept you.
So is that really challenging? Did they finally accept you, and how long did that normally take?
I don't think you ever feel truly accepted there because there'll always be things that they do or jokes that they have that you might realize that aren't really for you or that you weren't really involved in them.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. Team 3, what about you? How was it like trying to make friends when you just transition in from, or maybe you notice other people transition in? How did you experience that?
Well, I experienced it by like I had these awareness about if they're going to like me, if they think I'm weird, if they're going to talk behind my back, seeing if they're true friends, and also seeing if they are actually genuine and how they act towards other people, because that's a big
Yeah.
part about it, to see if they're really friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like how Team 4 said, like how they're the jokes that you think like they have and the things that they do that you don't really know what they're doing, so it makes you feel judged.
Yeah. Okay. And team 2. Thank you very much, team 3.
So just like Team 4 said, when they have like groups that they already like formed and you've not been there, and you just have to like try and find the people that like match not only like your personality but also your values as well. Because them matching your values mean that you're able to like talk to them on like different things and you're able to like get along with them, not only just talking in school but also talking out of school as well. And I'd say that when forming friendships, when I was in high school, I found it quite difficult because most people, they were like, but our generation, because like we have different interests, I'd say that it's kind of hard to like form a friendship based on what you, not just you like, but what everyone else likes as well.
That must have been pretty challenging for you guys as well. Now, thank you very much. Team 1, what about you?
To piggyback on what Team 4 and Team 2 said, I would say like everyone already has friendship groups. So it's kind of like scary to go up to friendship groups and like start joining them. You're scared of being judged. And then after that, you start to notice that you're like segregating yourself, and
Yeah.
you start getting so used to being by yourself. And also in generation, like Team 2 said, it's very hard to find friends with the same interests as you. So you try your best to create intentional friendships and genuine friendships. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to ask this question. I've noticed that I've heard people call people that have just relocated from another country, and they call them freshies. And from your observation, what did you notice that they go through? When they just arrive, they are just different and they kind of stand out. What have you seen them go through, and how do you think that impact them? Because when I go to schools, I see a lot. And sometimes I'm just wondering, are parents aware of this? I'll come to you, Team 4.
When people new come to the school, I think they
Yeah.
don't even really experience a lot of like first-hand like confrontation, but they experience a lot of like isolation. Like people will leave them out of stuff, and they might not even speak about them or say anything horrible about them. Nothing like that. It'll just mainly be them being alone or not really being involved, because many people don't really like to interfere with their groups once they have them. So they just stay away from that new person, and it takes them a while to learn.
Isolation, even as an adult, I don't do very well with isolation. So I can only imagine how all these children are feeling in school, moving from one place and then you're coming and everybody's just carrying on like you don't exist. That must be very, very challenging. Now I'll come to you, Team 3. What do you think?
Well, I think the people from different places, like, they probably try and blend in and see it like unseen, but they always end up getting standed out, and people make fun of them for that, which makes them feel like they don't belong. It makes them feel judged. It makes them feel like they shouldn't be there. It makes them feel like just unwanted.
Yeah.
And it makes it harder.
That's scary. Yeah, carry on.
It makes it harder for them to make friends because they see how other people act, which makes them judge the other people about to see if they're the same, because they don't know if there's different people or they all act the same. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really hard. Really hard. Parents, I hope you are listening. So when you send your child to school, they are experiencing all of this stress, and then you are still focusing on math, science, and English alone. You are not listening to their body language. You are not paying attention. Please, I love academic. I love it. But I will never prioritize it over any child's emotional and mental well-being. Let's take notes, please. Let's take notes. I'm going to come to you, Tin 1. And Tin 1, the question I'm going to ask is, I know there's a lot of this talk now about going to a certain school, Catholic school, go to grammar school, go to private school, and all of that stuff, or go to a school that is, it's not very diverse. They don't have diverse students. Please, can you share what you've seen or what you've experienced? It might be from just observing in school, the challenges that they normally go through.
I would say identity crisis is a big one. They kind of like try to put who they really are behind them, and a lot of the times like hide who they really are because they want to feel accepted. They want acceptance for other people. They tend to like change themselves so that people don't judge them based on, like I said before, who they really are. And I feel like then because of that, they start to notice a lot of people like acting fake towards them, or they start to act fake with other people. And I would say that also they start to lose confidence as well in being themselves, and they tend to like lose confidence to speak up about it because people might not understand, and also stuff like tiny microaggressions as well. can make them realize that they don't fit in. Like people mispronouncing their names, even like asking to touch their hair, like even those tiny like things people might not see as a big deal, but it actually is for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. That even sometimes they don't even ask for permission. They put their hands straight into your hair. I find it very offensive. It's not your hair. You don't need to touch it. Keep your hands to yourself, Keep your hands to yourself. Right. Okay. I'm coming to you, Tin 4 for same questions. How does it feel to be, in a school, or when you've experienced, when you see people in all these schools that are not very diverse? What do you think? What have you noticed?
I can only really speak on my own experience because I'm one of like not a lot of other cultured people there.
Yeah.
But mainly I just noticed what Teen One said. A lot of different things, microaggressions. You try to change yourself and say stuff that maybe they say, or do stuff that they say, but then they sometimes just like cross the line, and it makes you realize that you can't really ever be like them. And especially stuff with like hair or just the way you look, the jokes that they make sometimes about slavery, other stuff, like bad stuff. You just realize like you wouldn't make that kind of joke, and they can say it against you, they can say it about someone else, and you just realize like it's not really where you belong.
Yeah. So when you say it's not really where you belong, that's a sense of not being wanted in that place. And that just sounds really, really really tough. And all I can say is that, do you think having more diverse going to a school with more diverse background, would you say that would be better?
I do love the friends that I've made there, and I think they are really valuable to me. But I think if I'd gone to a school that was more diverse, maybe I would feel less like the way I do sometimes.
Yeah.
And I see friends that I had in primary school that went to a different school than me now hang out with their friends, all of the same culture or religion or colour, just however they are. And they all seem like happier and stuff like that. Meanwhile, with
Yeah.
my friends, I feel like I can barely like, I don't know, talk to them about some of the stuff that I go through because they won't really understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. They don't really understand. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Now I'm going to come to you, Tin 2. What have you noticed the ways that teenagers, or they cope with all of these things that they are going through, the stress, the distress that they have been exposed to? How do you think they cope with it? What are some of the coping mechanisms that you've observed they used to cope with it?
I'd say that some of the coping mechanisms that they used was either staying in their room and avoiding people, or being
Yeah.
on their phone all the time, or being on like social media all the time, trying to get away, or just like trying to ignore everyone, or like having a bad mood because of what's going on in school. They don't want to tell anyone about it.
Yeah. Okay. So, isolating themselves in school again and, keeping it to themselves, that's a big burden to carry alone. I'm going to come to you, Teen 1. I want you to please speak to the fact that, how does this, when you're in a school that is predominantly not diverse, and the impact they have on you, and the ways that they cope with it? Please, can you speak to that, Teen 1?
I would say like you tend to isolate yourself. You struggle to speak up because you don't really know how people will react to that if they agree with what you're saying. You also tend to like use social media a lot to get out of your feelings sometimes. And I would say going to a more diverse school, it's actually quite, from going to a diverse school from a predominantly white school, people see it as like a better opportunity to make more friends that are similar to you, but at the same time, it'll be quite hard because you don't know how to make friends. You start to realize that because for so long you've like isolated yourself and spent time in loneliness. So you tend to like once again like stick to yourself in that diverse school. But you need to be that person that puts yourself out there and change yourself in order to make friends and get used to it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I saw someone put a comment there that even in, it's not only a school that don't have a lot of diversity, especially, no, where is it? Going to a more diverse school is good, but these issues can be experienced in different settings. Do you think that's correct? Do you think, what do you think about that comment? Do you think this happen in all the schools, whether you're in a diverse school or not, that people still face this isolation?
I think that's very, very true, because like they're quite used to it, so they just stick to what they know.
No, as in, do you think when this isolation, do you think is more in a school where there is not enough diversity, or do you think it is the same? It's not, diversity has got nothing to do with it.
Oh, I would say it depends on the person. For example, if you know exactly like who you are, you know your identity really, really well, and don't try to change yourself for others. If you're in a school that's less diverse, you might change yourself for others and become more like them, and you won't really see it as a problem. But if you're the person who knows your identity, then you'll start to feel it more. If that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is more prevalent in places that there is no diversity. Because I've worked in so many schools, and even when I walk into a school that there is no diversity, even me as an adult, as a staff, I experience something different. It's almost as if I'm in a strange land. But when I go to diverse schools, I feel that warmth. I feel that acceptance as I come here to deliver my sessions with the children. So I do understand that, yeah, people would think it's the same. It's not the same. It is not the same. You feel it more when you are not, when you are in a place that there's no diversity. It's almost like you are sticking out like a cell tomb, and it's not the same at all. It's not. And our children experience the same thing. Even liaising with them, you find it very, very challenging. It's nobody's fault. It's just that there is no, people don't really know you very well, or know about your race very well, or attributes a lot of good things to your race. It can be that. Now, teen 3, how do you think parents can begin to support, when you have any transition, you move to a new school? What kind of support do you think can help a child to start flourishing? And even though they are going through this stress, they'll begin they'll still be able to manage with it.
Well, what I think is that, for example, if they come back from school looking gloomy, instead of assuming and not asking questions, they should ask before they act. Because if they know what's going on, they know how to deal with it, and they know how to really see what they need to do to make them feel better, or make them have better understanding of what they're going through. Because
Right.
how some parents, they don't have the same care as they try to give, so they have trouble trying to talk to them instead of assuming. So that's why I think parents should more talk to the children about when they come back to school, and when they come back from somewhere, so they know how they're going and what's going on, and they know how they're feeling. So that's why I think.
Yeah, thank you very much. Parents, are you listening? They say you need to talk to them. You need to ask them questions and check in with them. It is very, very important. Now, I'm going to come to you, Teen 2. What do you think? How do you think, what are the suggestions that you will give to parents to help, to help bring this and cover that, to help you to manage the stress? What do you think can help? Teen 2.
I'd say that instead of
Right,
I'd
Teen
say
2.
parents can help by asking their children questions, like Team 3 said, and while they're at home as well, instead of like giving them like stress, because I say that when parents also shout at their children, they're adding more stress onto what the problem already is. So
Yeah.
I'd say that also be patient with your children as well, if they're like being snappy or if they're in their room all the time.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. Teen 1, how do you think parents can help? What are the things that you suggest to parents? Because you've got our ears now. What are the things that you can suggest that will help parents to support more rather than adding to the stress?
I think that parents should, first of all, talk without judgment. So when you're talking to your child, your teenager, you should have a conversation with them, but make sure you listen and don't just go straight into judging them. Like, acknowledge what they've said. A lot of the times, the children have no one to talk to, and you're the only person that they can come to talk to and be real with. So you need to acknowledge that as well. Checking in with your child as well is also really important, and being patient with them. Don't always expect them to be like, oh, this is the problem, this is the problem, this is that. Like, sometimes they just need their own space. And also encourage them to be social as much as you can. Like, let's say they have an event they want to go to, tell them, oh, you can go to this. If it's okay to go to, of course, and make sure to encourage that.
Yeah, thank you very much. No judgment. Stop assuming, parents. Stop assuming. They do not like it. They do not like it. Have a conversation without any preconceived idea and just come with an open mind. I'm going to come to you, Team 4. Please give us ideas on how we can do better now that we know.
I'd say the most important thing is to listen. Like the other teens have said, sometimes I feel like parents can assume stuff that maybe their lives can't be as stressful as their own because they're not paying bills or because they're not going to work and stuff. But sometimes social like problems and even academic problems can just be as stressful, especially with exams and stuff like that, could put a pressure on them about what they need to do for the next week or for the next day. And sometimes when they need their space, just sit down and be quiet, or if they need to be loud and talk to you and yell about it, then sometimes you just need to let them go through it instead of like cutting them off or making sure they're focusing on their language or making sure they're like within reason, of course, or making sure that like looking proper and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Right. You said that. Thank you very, very much to all of you. I'm sure everybody has contributed to that. I know parents we just want you guys to do academically. We're always telling you what are your grades, push you in extra tuition and all of that stuff. I absolutely love that. We just genuinely want people to do well. However, I feel personally there is a segment that parents they trivialize sometimes. Some parents, not all of them. And this is the mental and emotional well-being of the children. Please, can each of you begin to tell me if you could tell parents one thing that would help them support your mental and emotional well-being better? Apart from the things that you've said, how can we help you to build emotional resilience and help you to have better emotional and mental well-being? I'll come to you, Teen 1.
I would say quality time is quite important. So spend time with your child, and in that time, make sure to listen to them, and to check in with how they're doing, and do this regularly so that you can have like an idea of their mindset. For example, you never know the academics; they may not be doing well or as well as they want to do. So you need to just be checking in with them, help them as well whenever you can. And I would say don't like minimize their feelings. Don't judge them and be like, oh, you can't feel this. This is that. Like don't be quick to judge, and make a safe place for them, because in school they'll feel loneliness and segregation, and that's not really a safe place for them. So at home, make sure that's a safe place and that they can come to talk to you when they can and they feel safe doing that.
Wow. Thank you so much. So create a safe space for your child. The world is chaotic enough. Let's learn to create a safe space. There was a comment that was dropped by patients. I really like that. I said, please know that some parents do these things ignorantly. And that is true, because sometimes we parent the way we're parented. And if we do not know these things, we cannot do the things that we do not know. That is so true. Now, Teen 2, please, can you speak to that as well? What is the best way that parents can help to build your mental and emotional well-being and help you to build emotional resilience?
I'd say that their parents should find out what their kids actually like to do and like actually find enjoyable to do, and like try and encourage them to actually do those activities more. So while they're also facing some stressful like stuff in school, they also have something to look forward to before they have to like go back to it. Or I'd say they can talk about it with their parents, like Team One said, and also like bond with them over that, so that at least they know what they're going through, so they're not going through it alone.
Wow. So parents, are you listening? Find out what your children like. That what will help them to release their stress while they are still doing their education. Find out activities that they like. It might be drawing, it might be painting, it might be listening to music, it might be dancing, it might be writing poetry, it might be going for a walk, maybe it might be swimming. We don't know. But find out. Team 3, please, can you give us your idea on how we can improve your emotional and mental well-being as parents, please?
Well, our emotional and well-being is like basically let's say
No, what do parents need to do? What do parents need to do?
Okay.
Yeah.
Parents need to probably acknowledge that they feel different things and know that they don't always feel happy, so they always need to chat with them, spend some quality time, like having meetings of how you feel. Like you need to have like that time where you can just let out anything like you need to do. Like for example, some parents need to have this time where they can say anything and they won't be in trouble for it. Like a family chat that they all can expose the things that they normally won't, but because they feel like they'll get in trouble. But this has no pressure because it makes the children feel that they are actually being acknowledged by their parents and making them feel that they actually are being known.
Wow, that's just amazing. Thank you. Parents, they want you to listen to their voice. Let them speak their mind without the fear of getting in trouble. So create this avenue where they are able to speak openly, but we also want it to be respectfully as well. Now, Team 4, please speak your mind.
I think the best thing to do would be like understand that situations in schools and systems have changed from when parents are at school to now, especially if you've moved into a different country and your child is going to school somewhere that you didn't go to school. Sometimes parents will think, oh, but when I was at school, etc., etc., or my friends, but sometimes it's these friends and these new things and these new social expectations that are different, and that sometimes parents need to acknowledge that and just understand that it might not be the same kind of situation.
Wow. Thank you very, very much. I have one question before we go. People grow up in different family dynamic, whereby some family they are from the affluent family, and as such they can provide everything even before the child asks. And also, I noticed that if you relocated, there are lots of things that change, and sometimes it can affect the finances as well. How does this impact the emotional and mental well-being of children, and how can parents communicate this when the finances are tight so that you don't start looking at your affluent friends and thinking that you're missing out? How can we communicate this? Because sometimes we assume that just understand, things are not okay, you should just understand and manage. But how can we lovingly explain this to you so that you begin to understand? I'll start with Tin 1.
I would say comparison is not good. You shouldn't compare your child to other children, because you never know what they're going through as well. Also, sometimes the kids had the pressure to grow up fast, like to mature more than their age. Like they're forced from a young age to act so much older, and sometimes they have a lot of like emotional overloads. They have to juggle school, family stresses, new environments, so many different challenges. They have so many things that they need to like keep composed. They need to keep composed, and sometimes they be scared of judgment as well. About like not having this, not having that. And like someone said in the chat now, every child is unique. Do not compare them. That's really important as well. And also sometimes low self-esteem will come from that too. You feel like you don't belong, that you're not enough for the people, and and independence as well. Like you start to become really independent from a young age.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very, very much. Teen 4, I'll come to you. What was your take on that? And this one is when you have affluent friends and then your family are not, they're not affluent, but they are doing their best. And especially when the finances are a bit cramped, what is the best way that we can communicate it to you without rubbing you off in the wrong way? What are the best way that you think parents can communicate this to you?
I think the most important thing to do is just talk about it, because sometimes you'll want something that you've seen other people have, like maybe a new bag or a new trend, just any new thing, and you want it, but obviously it's going to be very expensive and maybe it's useless in the end, so your parents will not get it for you. But instead of them telling you, oh, this is just not in our budget right now, or you don't really need that, they could yell at you or maybe like say things that like will hurt you later that you might remember. So stuff that just talking about it and helping them understand. So I feel like sometimes parents can be like trying to hide financial situations from their children. Maybe they don't want them to know. Maybe they don't want them to feel different. But I think sometimes knowing that you are different from those affluent friends is the way to go, especially if they're old enough. That's the way that you need to deal with it, because if they don't know and they just think that you're saying no out of spite, then it can hurt them more.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. My final question to Teen 3 and Teen 2 is, Teen 3, please. A lot of children tell me that their parents shout too much and the words that they use. You know, how do you, when parents shout, how does it make you feel, and how best can we do? Can we manage this to get to you without shouting?
Well, it makes me feel like I've done something wrong when they yell at me or when they are getting angry, because it makes me feel like I've done something wrong. Like, for example, if you got a bad grade but you tried fixing it but you couldn't, they would yell at you even though you tried your best. Like, it would make you feel like you need to do more and pressure you and make you have um like anxiety, pressure, like, and also in some ways it can affect your life, like when you're older. Like, it makes you transfer aggression to other people, which makes other people, like, it's just basically contagious, making other people mad and sad and things like that. It's just a roller coaster of emotions, because 1 second after that you're mad, they tell you to go to your room, you get sad, and it's just a whole thing. So that's why I think they should start using a calmer voice and like acknowledging that they're humans, that they can make mistakes, and they don't need to like raise their voice just to be heard. So yeah.
Right. Thank you very, very much. And you're right. When a child grew up in an environment where they shout a lot, it make them very hypervigilant, and it can lead to anxiety disorder in the future. You are so spot on that. And someone said some parents of this generation shout because that is how they were raised. But once the parents get enlightened, things should change. I like that. Please change. Let's change. And Teen 2, that's the final question to you now. What do you think?
I'd say that parents only shout. Well, I think that parents only shout because they feel like that's the best way to get their point across. But most kids, mostly when they're shouting, they just like turn off and they just don't listen, or they just try and like avoid them, or they just like walk off, for example. But I'd say the best thing to do is to talk to them calmly and talk to them like conversation voice, like it's a conversation. So then it's not just you like dominating over them and then using your like authority to like um make them feel like they're not heard or anything. I say the best thing to do is talk to them like, I wouldn't say as a peer, but like talk to them with a normal calm voice instead of shouting at them.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. Now I'm going to ask you, I said one last question. This one is going to be really fast. what is the best way that we can avoid and manage, when you're going through maybe any form of bullying? Will you be confident enough to speak to your parents about it? Teen 1.
I feel like sometimes kids are scared to talk to their parents about bullying and they'll stay silent because they don't want to make it worse. For example, their parents could go to the school and they don't want to make a big situation out of it. And yeah, that's what I believe about bullying.
Yeah. The dangers of bullying is very, very bad. We cannot stand and just watch people get bullied. And going to school might be the last resort, but it is very, very important, that we know about these things. Thing 2, what do you think about bullying? No, what are the things that make that make children become a target? What are the possible things that make children become a target of bullying?
It could be, for example, the way they look, the way they speak, or like, for example, their accent. Or I'd say it's mostly new people, or if they have like something that's like unique that doesn't like it's not common, I'd say it makes them a target for bullying because then they're the only person who actually has that like characteristic and that everyone else can like judge them for it.
Wow. Wow, thank you. Thing 3, what do you observe make people become a target of bullying or bullies?
I observe that when they're a target of bullying, it's either they're unique and they have extra things that probably they get bullied because they're jealous of what they have and they want that, so they put them down so they can just feel higher.
Wow.
And the other bit is how it's either they don't have enough skill in their eyes, which makes them look like they're not as good as it. They're not peers. It makes one of them feel higher than another, which makes other people feel down and makes them always have that sense that they won't be good enough or they need to have more. So it makes them work harder, makes them do things. It has some benefits and disbenefits. Like it has the benefits that making them try harder, but it makes it try harder for the wrong reasons, which makes them do things and over exhilarate herself. So it makes them not have the same feel like they need to be better than them or they need to be more normal because that's what kids feel. They feel like they're getting judged by everyone. So yeah.
Right. Thank you very, very much. And the last question goes to Teen 4. What are the impact that you've noticed that bullying has done to children of your age, especially cyberbullying?
I feel like with cyberbullying, there can be more isolation and stuff like that, and maybe you become like fixated on finding out who it is if you don't know who it is, or maybe you just try and hide yourself away. With physical bullying or like isolated kind of bullying, I believe that's still kind of a sort of bullying when people leave you out of stuff on purpose because of something that you are or something that you do. I feel like when that happens, it's more an effort to try and fit in, and you like get lost on who you are yourself because you're so focused on them on wanting to be accepted that you end up doing that. Or maybe you try, it sounds backwards, you try and make friends with the bully even because you believe that if you can fix whatever's wrong with yourself, then they'll accept you more.
Wow. Thank you, everyone. Teen 1, thank you. Teen 2, 3, and 4. I really appreciate you. Parents are listening. We're going to send this more to different group, and I'm so glad it is on YouTube so people can go back and rewatch. We've listened to your voice. It's been very impactful. Thank you for speaking up for yourself and for your generation. We'll take on board what you've said and we will do better now that we know better, that even though you don't pay bills, there are stress still involved in being a child. Thank you very, very much. I'm not going to move you back now, and then you can then log off. Thank you. All right. Okay. Please, let's appreciate them. Let's appreciate our children. Let's appreciate them. They've shared from their hearts. They've shared with us. We are going to have the fourth anchor to come in now and bring our other speaker in. Let's thank them because they have been super amazing and very, very brave. I just want to celebrate them. I just want to celebrate them. I just want to celebrate them. I am super proud of them for speaking up, for sharing the things that they are going through. These are primary researchers. This is primary things. We just speak from what we observe and from speaking to them, but they have come to tell us exactly the way it is. So please, when your child is talking, know that they are going through a lot. Uncle 4 is going to be joining us on the stage very soon because our speaker has been waiting. She has been listening in as well. So Uncle 4, you need to join in now, and then we are going to be able to get our speaker who has been waiting patiently for us. So I'm just going to bring you up so I can jump off so she can do a bit of summary and do the bio. Oh, she's here. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Angel Omosigo. I'll be introduced to the next speaker. Can everybody hear me? Okay. The next speaker is Ainome Otaigbe Amedu, MBE, the founder and CEO, Wonderfully Made Woman. She's a powerful voice for women's empowerment, a transformational speaker, and a visionary founder of Wonderfully Made Woman, a Manchester-based charity dedicated to supporting women and girls affected by domestic abuse, hardship, and social inequality. Her journey began in 2011 when she opened her home to local women, creating a safe space for connection and healing. From these humble beginnings, she built an award-winning organization known for its culturally responsive support services, empowering programs, and pioneering initiatives, including Greater Manchester First African Food Bank and Pidgin English translation support. Inome's leadership has earned widespread recognition, including the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service, the Prime Minister's Point of Light Award, and the Pride of Britain Award. She is also trained in counseling, care, and has served in community leadership roles across Manchester. Her speaking style is warm, authentic, and deeply inspiring. She draws on personal experience, community work, and faith to help women rebuild confidence, embrace their identity, and step boldly into their purpose. When she's done working, Ainome enjoys dancing, cooking, and spending meaningful time with her family. Please welcome our speaker, Ainome Otaigbe Amendu. Welcome, ma.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Good evening. Good
Good
evening,
evening, ma'am.
everyone, to all our listeners. First of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me to this wonderful conference. I've been listening since the morning session and this evening session. It's been great, very inspiring. And I want to thank all the organizers for such a wonderful conference. And I'm hoping that maybe in future we'll actually have a physical one where people can join, and be able to connect physically. So thank you so much. So today I've been asked to talk about silenced by stigma, breaking trauma, shame. First of all, if you see me, you'll see my eyes are watery. My house is so hot. I don't like hot. Other people in the house, they've been putting on the heating, so it's really affecting me. That's why my eyes are like that. I feel like running outside. So silence by stigma, breaking trauma, shame. Who is silenced by stigma? And how do you break trauma, shame? The theme for the conference is Unmask to be rooted. For you to be able to be rooted, you have to unmask. You have to make sure that you're no longer silenced by stigma. You have to be able to break that trauma shame. We all know what mask is. It's a covering. You don't want people to know the truth. You don't want people to know what's happening in your life. Whether you're a child, a student, whether you're an adult, you have a lot of challenges or challenges that are being stigmatized and you're hiding, you're masking it. But for you to be rooted, unmask also means to reveal, to expose the true character of a hidden truth. For you to be able to reveal means to unmask. To be rooted means to establish, to gain access. For example, we are in this country and we want to be able to establish, we want to be able to gain access. What are the things that we need to unmask? What are the things that we need to reveal to be able to exploit? What are the things we are no longer ashamed to talk about for us to be able to, prosper, for us to be able to spread our wings, to be able to fly? A lot of us have been silenced by stigma. A lot of us have gone through so many adversity, or maybe just one. Maybe childhood trauma, you've been raped, you've been molested by a family member, you're not able to talk about it. And you've been able, you have gone through maybe domestic abuse as a man or as a woman, or even as a child, you've been abused by parents or carers or teachers. Immigration is another thing that can make us, be silenced. A lot of us in this country, maybe you have immigration issues, you don't want people to know because you're ashamed. You don't want to be talked about. You don't want to go somewhere and they're like, oh, that lady, she doesn't have papers. Home Office is running after her, or Home Office is running after him. So you kind of mask up. We've seen a lot of people like that. For years, you won't even know that they're going through immigration issues until it's getting to, the point where they want to take them away. Why? Because they are being silenced by the stigma attached to immigration issues. Or people who have financial hardship, maybe loss of job, loss of partner, and you're struggling. You don't want people to know, so you mask up, especially for women. We have our foundation, we have our makeup. So even when you go out, you go to parties, you go to church, nobody can really tell. So you mask up. But as someone who wants to progress in life, how do you change from masking that challenge, masking those problems, to be able to say, you know what, I'm no longer going to be silenced by the stigma attached to my problem? For you to take that decision, it means that you want to start to change your lifestyle. A lot of people's dreams have been suppressed. I don't want to say die, because no dream is actually dead until the person goes to the grave. A lot of people's dreams have been suppressed because they don't want to unmask. And for you to be able to progress in life, whether you're a child, you're a student, you're an adult, a parent, a carer, a professional, you have to be able to unmask for you to be rooted, for you to be established, for you to gain access. You have to be able to step out of that comfort zone. You have to be able to say, you know what, I don't care if I'm going to be stigmatized, if I'm going to be laughed at, if somebody wrote gossip, if they're going to gossip about me, as long as I am rooted, as long as I am established, as long as I can gain access. So we are in this country where there's so many issues. I think this morning somebody was talking about marriage, that immigration does not break marriage. It's the way people handle it. So for example, maybe there's a relationship breakdown, and that is one of the biggest stigma in our community. A lot of people will hide for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, as long as they can hide, and keep pretending that they are married, even when that relationship has broken down. And when you're in that situation, you can't really go far. Why? Because you are not telling yourself the truth, and people do not know the truth. For you to be able to fulfill your purpose in life, regardless of what life has thrown at you, you have to be bold enough. You have to be confident enough to say, you know what? I am no longer going to be silenced by this stigma. So, for me personally, as an inspirational speaker, I like to use my story. The reason I use my story, because one is become a success story for others to learn, for others to know that, you know what, whatever you go through in life, people will laugh. There are people who are born gossip, so they will always gossip. There are people who will continue to mock you because that's who they want to be. But as a human being, if you want to progress, if you want to move forward, then you have to be bold enough to shake off whatever stigma that has been attached to you. For me personally, I would say I'm really grateful to God for where He has taken me to and where He's still taking me to. And all these success stories of my life will not be available for anyone to listen to if I was still unmasking. If I was still masking my shame, masking my challenge, the stigma attached to what I went through. For you to move forward, you have to ignore whatever shame that comes with that challenge. So in my own life, I have always been somebody who loved marriage. You know, as a Christian, born again, you get married, nobody prays for marriage breakdown. Nobody prays that, okay, one day I'm going to get divorced. Nobody. So I got married and I was a church counselor in Nigeria, came to the UK. I read law and I thought, you know what, I'm going to help women because there's so much domestic abuse around me. Then we didn't even know it was domestic abuse. We just knew that, you know, uncle will beat auntie, daddy beats mommy. So it was almost like every day you see a man beating a woman. So it was almost like the norm. We didn't know it was domestic abuse. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to read law. I'm going to help my women, which I read. And just before I could start, you know, exercising, I was doing that in church, my comfort zone. We relocated to the UK. 2005. By next week, Wednesday, it will be 20 years. And unfortunately, just because of time, there was a relationship breakdown. 8 years of marriage broke down. And if there was anything I did not like as a Christian, because when we were brought up, when you see a woman with no husband but have children, or have children with different fathers, we were told that those people will go to hell automatically. That was the mindset I had growing up. So I did everything to protect marriage. Even if I'm dying, I wanted the marriage because I didn't want to go to hell. I didn't want to be called useless. I didn't want to be called a woman who couldn't keep her home. Unfortunately, the marriage broke down. And that was the start of me masking initially. So there are people who already know your problems who will come and ask you, how is your husband? Or how is your wife? Or if it's immigration, oh, do you have your paper now? They know you don't, but they will ask. And because you are masking, you are ashamed, you are silenced, you keep saying fine. And one problem about saying fine when it's not fine is that by the time everyone is gone, you will go and feel pain. So every time they ask, how is your husband? I will say fine. And when I get home, I will start to cry because there was no husband anyway. So I kept on masking because of the shame, because of the stigma. And one day, I think it was a house fellowship or something. My house was used as a house fellowship. And you know, people can be nosy. And she looked around and then said, oh, your pictures, you and your beautiful children, where is your husband? And before I would have said he's fine or he traveled or he doesn't like pictures. And immediately, I don't know what came over me. God unmasked that shame. And I said, he ran away and went with another woman. She was shocked. Yes, masking brings pain. And she said, wow. And you said it like that. I said, yes, you asked me where is my husband. I said, he has gone with another woman. Is there any other thing you want to ask? I felt relieved. I felt this boldness came. I was like, wow, finally, I'm able to say my truth. When they left, I was so happy. I was at peace. Yes, I was very ashamed initially because if there was one thing I did not like is to be tagged a single mom. What did I do to unmask so that I can be rooted, so I can fulfill my purpose on earth, so that I can gain access in the United Kingdom? I had to tell myself the truth. When you're a single mom or you have immigration issues, you can be silenced by stigma. And there is nothing worse than being a single mom. Being, your relationship breaks. Nobody talks about the man. It's the woman. Oh, she's not a Proverb 31 woman. Oh, she couldn't keep her home. Oh, she was too loud. Oh, she has no respect. Oh, this, oh, that. Oh, they brought her to the UK now. She wants to be like the boss. Everything, every stigma is attached. Yes, the burden will be lifted. My burden was lifted immediately, and I faced it. How did I break that trauma shame? I told you the fellowship was the first time I broke that trauma shame. Like, you know what? Don't ask me about him. Even seeing the pictures without a man, you don't need to ask. Right? So I told her immediately, and I saw freedom. I saw peace. I found peace within. So the next Sunday I went to church and they were asking, how are you? How is the dad? I said, I don't know, because he's gone. I'm a single mom now. I started feeling peace every day of my life. People gossiped. Yes, people gossiped. People told me to my face, oh, I think you were not a good woman because he's looking better now. That's why we hide. That's why we mask, because we are afraid of what people will say. People said a lot of things. Oh, it's because you're too quiet. Oh, it's because you're too fat. Oh, it's because you don't talk. Oh, it's because you cry a lot. Oh, it's because you plead the blood of Jesus all the time. What did I do? I took steps. And I want you, if you're listening this evening, or you will listen later, yours might not be my kind of story. It might be immigration. It might be work. It might be your children. Maybe your children are not doing well. And you're so ashamed to tell your friends because they will laugh. They will compare you and compare their children with yours. So you're keeping quiet. Maybe your children are misbehaving and you don't want anybody to know because of the gossip that will come out of it. I want to encourage you today to unmask. Unmask so you can be rooted, so you can get help, so that you can get solution, so that those closed doors will be opened to you. Until I unmask, I was never rooted in the UK. Until I unmask, I never gained access to the places I sit on now. So what did I do? Number one, I accepted who I was. And you are now a single mother of 2. Because before we'll hide ring and still be wearing ring. I had to accept you are a single mother of 2 children. Face it. People are going to laugh. People are going to mock you. People are going to say, my story was being preached on the altar. I didn't care anymore. Until you are able to say, you know what? I don't really care what people say. The reason people don't get help on time, especially when it comes to immigration issues, is because they don't speak out on time. Look at the COS issue. Some people will have problem. They will keep quiet until maybe weeks to their deadline. And they start to struggle. They start to run. At the end of the day, most times, the thing we mask, the things that we don't want people to know because of shame, because of stigma, because of stereotype, when it hooks you like this, you start to talk about it. You start to talk about it. So in my own case, the relationship breakdown came with so many baggages. One, immigration. I was a dependent. So immediately he walked away. The Home Office told me, you and your children go. Even the one that was born in the UK, you have to go. So I started to seek help. I started to speak out. Accepting who you are. A lot of people are living in denial, masking, and they are dying. A lot of people are being abused. Men are being abused. Women are being abused. Children are being abused. They go to school and the teacher is asking, how are you? They say, I'm fine, but they're not fine. A lot of children are going through trauma, but they're ashamed. If I tell my teacher I've been molested, what would they say? If I tell them I've been raped, what would they say? If I tell them I've been bullied, are they going to laugh at me? Will they say I'm weak? You're a woman, just because you're a woman of God or a pastor or whatever position you hold. Or maybe you're even a motivational speaker. And now you're going through your challenge. You can no longer tell people, you know what, the thing I'm preaching about is happening to me. So you mask. A lot of people have died because they mask. But today I'm encouraging you to unmask. Unmask. Even Jesus that came to save us, at some point he was being laughed at. He was being mocked. If you say you are the Son of God, do this. If you say you are the Son of God, do that. What about Joseph? I know he's not a Christian descent. What about Joseph, who had a dream? Oh, let's sell him and see how he's going to be that kind of person. Everyone that is destined for greatness will have to unmask for you to be rooted. You will have to, come out of that comfort zone. You will have to be able to break that trauma shame. Some people will say you can't shame the shameless, right? So before they even laugh at you, you have already told them. You have already laughed at yourself. How many times? Thank you. You cannot shame the shameless. So I'm right. Yeah. How many times will they even laugh at you? What's the worst that can happen? For example, immigration. What's the worst that can happen if people get to know you have immigration issues? What's the worst? They're going to just talk and that's it. As long as you get help, it doesn't matter whether they're gossiping you. It doesn't matter whether they've placed stigma on your head. It doesn't matter. You have to break away from that trauma shame to be able to gain access, to be able to be rooted, to be able to progress in your life. Just imagine I have been masking all these years. I didn't tell anybody. I know women that their spouse have left them 12 years, 15, 8 years. They're still masking. How are you going to fulfill your purpose on earth? Maybe that reason he left or she left is your breakthrough, is the road to your breakthrough, is the road God wants you to pass to announce you. You don't know. There are women in ministry. Exactly. Greatness does not come in a platter of gold. There are women in ministry that I know that have been single mothers. Their congregation don't know that they've been single mothers. Their congregation don't know that they've been divorced. Their congregation, so when the women come and they're telling you their problem, you can't even now use yourself to encourage them because you're ashamed. And maybe, just maybe, that is where your ministry is. That is where your breakthrough is. That is where you will start fulfilling the purpose of God in your life. If anyone had told me that, your marriage needed to be destroyed to get to your promised land, I would never have believed. If anyone had told me that, I'm going to shake you with this challenge so you can open your mouth to talk because there is a purpose for your life, I would never have believed. And I never used to talk before. I was too quiet. In fact, people who knew I read law, one thing they would ask is, how would you talk in court? I was so quiet that I can talk inside of me, but I can't talk out. But you know what? Because there is a purpose for my life, because I needed to gain access in this country, my voice needed to be heard, and God knew that He needed to shake me to be able to save other women. He had to break that. So maybe yours is immigration. And you're saying, God, why? Unmask. Go to immigration centers. Seek for help. Go to organizations. Seek for help. I remember years ago, I had just arrived in London. Then I was getting this call. Oh, where are you? We need your urgent presence in this police station. I said, no, I'm not in Manchester. What happened? There's a lady that they've just held now. She has immigration issues. They finally deported her. But the painful part? That is a woman I talk to every day. I never knew. Beautiful woman. Nobody would have assumed that she had immigration issues. For years, I knew her. Until the moment they caught her. the thing she was hiding became public, but it was too late. It was too late. What is it that you're going through? What is it that you have already gone through? And you feel so ashamed. You feel that, I can't say this. The stigma, if I say it, I know what people will say. If I say it, they will take position away from church. They will not respect me. People have known all this while that I have money, but I really don't have. I don't want them to laugh at me. I have this childhood trauma. I cannot say it. I want to encourage you. Unmask. Break that trauma shame so that you can begin to fly. Break that trauma shame so that you can begin to explore. You can begin to fulfill your purpose on earth. And if you're a parent, whatever you are masking, maybe you're going through abuse and you think your children don't know. Children are like spirits. They know. And whatever it is that you are going through affects your children. It affects your children. So for you to be able to, come out from being silenced by stigma to breaking that trauma shame is acceptance, number one. You must accept that this is the problem. You must accept your situation. Number two, seek help. Professional help. If it's a medical stuff, go to your GP. Go to health professionals. If it's immigration, look for immigration support groups, immigration advice group. If financial hardship, find organizations. If it's domestic violence, seek help. If it's relationship, whatever it is, seek help. Number one, accept. Number two, seek help. Number three, be ready for a shift. I always say one thing. The people you move with will either make you or break you. Choose wisely. Who are you moving with? Why are you masking? Is it the people because of the people around you? Is it because of the people around you because they will gossip? Walk away. For you to be able to break trauma shame and start living your purpose, you will have to let go of some people, including some family members. You need people who are positive minded. Not people who will mock you, not people who will laugh at you, people who can tell you, you know what, you'll be fine. There is nothing that you're going through now that somebody has not gone through before. The reason I'm passionate about cancer awareness now is because a lot of people are masking it. They don't want people to know, because if they know that they have cancer, they will say, oh, they have not prayed enough. They don't have faith. They are people of little faith. And because of that, they mask until when it's getting to a point, they are telling them, oh, you have how many weeks or months to live. Then they unmask. So at some point, you're going to unmask anyway. So unmask early. Get help. Start living your life. Start living your life. 2022, I think, yes, 2022 is exactly 3 years I set up the first UK befriended service for single mothers. When they realized that service does not even exist in the whole of UK. And Her Majesty the Queen, may her soul rest in peace, encouraged me to say, that's something new. And today we are helping single mothers to achieve. I had, in fact, three of them out of the 4 that set up organizations and just got their funding this week. In fact, I've been so happy today. Like, you know, this is your success story. That they've moved from masking to unmasking. And they are breaking that trauma shame to say, you know what? If my relationship failed, I am not a failure. It's the relationship that has failed. So when I got one call on Tuesday, I got one on Monday, then I got another call today. I was like, why is she calling me on a Saturday? Out of curiosity, I picked. I showed her, Mama, I just got my funding. I said, wow. Now you can do whatever you want to do. They are progressing now because they have been able to say, you know what, I'm no longer going to be silenced by stigma, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not a good wife, that I'm not a Proverb 31 woman. People can say whatever they want to say. What does God say about you? What does God say about you? The challenge I had years ago, that I was so stigmatized in Manchester to a point where I almost committed suicide because of church. To a point I was hiding. And by the time I unmasked and I started telling people, yes, this is reality, they started saying my story was like an opened Bible where everybody knows the story in the chapter. Do you know what that means? Like everywhere I'm going, I could feel that people were talking about me. I could feel it. You know, I'm like, God, what is this? Maybe I should have kept quiet. Maybe I should have allowed that mask to remain. Maybe I shouldn't have unmasked it. But you know the good news. I am grateful that I was bold enough to unmask. If I did not unmask, I will not be fulfilling my destiny now. I will not. Every time it's November, I am emotional because I remember how I came to the UK. I remember when the problem started in 2007. I remember, and where I am today is as a result of unmasking, of breaking the trauma shame to say, no, I'm no longer going to be ashamed. What am I ashamed of? Somebody committed adultery. Why is the shame on me? Why am I the one ashamed? And today, that same story I was hiding. That same story I was masking. That same story I didn't want people to know because of the stigma is what has taken me to where I am today. Every of my success story is tied to what I was masking. What are you masking? What are you hiding? It's time to unmask. Move away from negative people. If you don't know how to unmask, talk to Sonia. Let her bring you to us, wonderfully made woman. There is no shame. There is nothing that is happening to you. There is nothing that has happened to you that has not happened to anyone before. You don't want to die with all the gifts God has put in you because of shame, because of stigma. You want to be able to spread your wings and fly. Yes, I was a single mom. Today, single mothers are excelling. They are walking boldly. They are no longer ashamed. Why should it be me being ashamed when it's the man who walked away? Is that man that should be ashamed? Even if you were the one that walked away, why should you be ashamed? Something did not work. You shouldn't be ashamed. Acceptance. Seek help. Move away from negative-minded people. Go with positive people. Celebrate your little wins, you know. When you ask women, what good thing can you say about yourself? Many people will say, nothing, no. Especially those abroad. Since I came to this country, you think it's just buying a house, buying cars. That's the only success story. Do you know what it means inside this wind, inside this cold, to be able to dress your children up and take them to school? That's a success story. Not everybody can do that. Go to work, come back, take your children to GP, do this appointment, do that, being able to cook, being able to check them at night. Celebrate it. Celebrate those things you call little and you shift away. Celebrate them. That's what I told single mothers. Why are they laughing at you? There are homes where they have daddy and mommy. They are struggling financially. Then you are doing it all by yourself, playing the role of a father and mother. You should be celebrating yourself. That you came to this country. Yes, you might not have the best job that you're looking for, but celebrate where you are and start to think positively. You can achieve anything you want to achieve in this country, regardless of discrimination or whatever. You can achieve. It might be slow, but you can achieve. You can achieve. Thank you. You can achieve. The only reason people are held bound is because of their mindset. And why is that negative mindset there? Because of the people they move with. So I'm very intentional. I remember months ago, my daughter was like, Mommy, if they really say bring one friend now, best friend, do you really have a best friend? I said, my dear, when I had best friend, where did that take me to? Don't spend time talking about this, talking about that. Time is of the essence. Who are you moving with? The person who will always remind you of that trauma, of that adversity, of that thing you couldn't achieve. Is that the person you're moving with? And who told you if you had a friend for 10, 20 years, you can't break that relationship? You can't move away from that friend. And if it's a family member who are pulling you down, who are reminding you of the trauma, who are making you mask because you're so ashamed or afraid to speak, who told you you can't move away? You can. When I started my organization almost 14 years ago, and I heard negative stuff from our people, Africa, Nigeria, I moved away. I started making friends with Asian people. And even now, I think I have over 70% as friends that are Asian and Muslim. If you want to progress, you have to draw boundaries. There is no way you can go far if the people around you are very negative. Even after you unmask, if you remain with negative-minded people, you can't go far. And you know, whatever it is that you're masking might just be that blessing. Is what God wants to use to turn your situation around. Please stop masking. Stop masking. Be bold to take that step and say, you know what? From today, I will no longer be silenced by stigma. I will no longer be silenced by this thing that is so shameful. I will no longer be silenced because of what people will say to me. I will no longer. I'm going to take a bold step and I will mask so that I can be rooted, so that I can gain access, so that I can be established. You know, most time when we are calling, we say, they make a honey of this land I will get. How? If you are masking, if God wants you to use your personal story to heal others, and you are masking it, how are you going to get breakthrough? How are you going to fly? Somebody was saying months ago, hey, you started this movement and gave Nigerians the boldness to start organization. Yes, before Wonderfully Made Woman, you will hardly see any organization from Nigerians. But that came as a result of what I was masking before. And one day, I took that bold step. I said, I will no longer be silenced by stigma of being a single mom. I'm going to break that shame. I'm going to break the trauma. And today you have how many Nigerians with organizations, even the African countries? Before, hardly will you see Africans wearing Ankara to events. Those were the things I started. All from one trauma, all from one challenge. That thing that would have killed me, that would have, that's even killed a lot of people. Some people, once their relationship breaks down, they can't do anything in their life anymore. It's what God has used to lift me up. And I don't take the glory. I'm just saying to encourage you. When I go to places, people do not have choice than to listen. Why? I'm speaking from lived experience. You are in a country where lived experience is key. And you're hiding your gold. Why? Look at great people. They had one issue or the other that they later used to transform their lives. Stop hiding. It's time to unmask so that you can be rooted. It's time to break the trauma shame. It's time to say, I will no longer be silenced by this stigma. I will no longer be silenced by this trauma. I will no longer be silenced by shame. I will no longer be silenced by that. So that you can excel. You'll be shocked. That thing you're hiding, so many people have done it. So many people. A lot of people are stuck in this UK with immigration because they were too ashamed to talk. They were too ashamed, but at the end of the day, they still talk anyway. They still talk anyway. So please, never hide. This conference, the theme of this conference is so unique. It's so unique. Unmask to be rooted. It means for you to excel, for you to be established, for you to gain access to greater things. It is your responsibility to do the needful. And what is that needful? To unmask. Whatever it is that you are masking, start thinking of how to unmask so that people can help you. If I did not unmask, I won't have gotten here. Maybe I would have been thrown to Nigeria by now. But today, I've not reached where I'm going, but I'm grateful for where I am. So please, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. Keep looking at that light at the end. Never give up. If God can take me to where I am today, a woman who couldn't even talk, even in the midst of my siblings, they won't even hear my voice. My voice was silenced. I was so dull in growing up. So that also silenced my voice. I remember in June when I did my birthday, one thing my dad kept saying in the video he sent to me that was played was, the one who never used to talk is the one talking now. When he kept saying it, I looked at his body language. And up till now, he still tells me, I don't know how God did it for you, I don't even know myself. All I know is that I actually unmask. I unmask. I'm not ashamed to say I've been divorced. I'm not ashamed to say I've been abused. I'm not ashamed to say I have I have been a single mom. I'm not ashamed because that's my reality. Unfortunately, that's my reality. Unfortunately, that's my reality. Whichever way, whether you say it positive or negative, that's my reality. So when I'm going out to speak, I don't want to mask and make people feel I am where I am today because I'm married or because, I did one thing or the other. I like to share my journey so that people know that you can go from -10 to 100 or even more. You can. All you need to do is build that confidence to say, I don't care what people say. And even till now, when I'm having challenge, I don't mask. Even the women I support, at some point, I tell them, you know what, right now I am struggling. Can you talk to the staffs or trustees or volunteers? I'm not in the right frame of mind. I don't do Superman or Superwoman. I don't. Because that's another thing that kills people, especially leaders. You're dying, you don't want people to know that you are dying. You have problem, you don't want them to know you have problem. No. At every stage in your life, whether you now get up there, because we'll always have challenges, never mask whatever challenge you have. When my nephew died last year, I used to cry to our women, like women who were seeking help, like, no, 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 no. I was expressing myself. I had to make them know that I was vulnerable as well. When I have financial hardship, I speak out. When we don't have funding, I speak out. When I need help, I go to our partner organization to say, you know what, I've been dealing with a lot of women. I need counseling myself. I need therapy, especially in COVID. I would just tell them, you know what, I think I need help right now. Because nobody is a superwoman or a superman. So even as a leader, you're listening, don't mask your problem. Just because you're helping people doesn't mean that you cannot be vulnerable. It doesn't mean you cannot let people know that you also need help. It doesn't mean. Some people are dying of exhaustion, especially faith leaders. Why? They know they're tired. But because they want to prove strong, like, how can I say I will not preach today? Why will I not? What is wrong is saying, you know what? You go and do the preaching. I want to rest. Like since I came from the US for my research, I have been working. It's like all the job has been waiting for me. Event here and there. And by Thursday, I was exhausted. I had to tell the team for radio show, please, there is no way I will get up on Friday morning and come for radio show. I am worn out. I'm not doing Superwoman. I'm not the only voice that God can use. No. And I told them, you can do better than me. Please go. Let's learn to unmask. Let's learn to break that stigma of shame. What are you ashamed of? What have you done that nobody has done before? What? Nothing. So, for you to, I've said it, for you to progress, accept, seek help, work with positive-minded people, and you'll be fine. Thank you so much for inviting me to this conference. I appreciate you all.
I'm muted. Before you speak, let me just say thank you so much, Ma. I celebrate you. I appreciate you. That's why I say she speaks from a very authentic way. These are the things you cannot find on Google. You cannot Google these things. These are real things. Thank you so much, Ma. God bless and honor you. I'm going to step back now and let her finish.
Thank you so much, Ma. It was an honor hearing from you. Please, let's do a recap. You said unmasked means to be revealed. To be rooted means to be established. You also said to take the bold step of unmasking is to overcome stigma for the greater good. To fulfill purpose irrespective of life circumstances, you need to take the bold step of overcoming stigma, ignoring naysayers or mockers. You also shared your personal story of how you unmask and you overcome shame and challenges. You shared how you overcome stigma associated with marital breakdown. Things worthy of note include the reason why people put on this mask. One, shame of reproach, fear of judgment, stigma, stereotypes, fear of losing position or title. You also shared the implications of masking. One, you talked about pain, inferiority, displacement, anger, and even death. So you also shared how do we overcome, and from your own personal experience, how you overcome this masking and how you became rooted. The first one was that you accepted your new place and you spoke up. The next one was that you sought help. It's good for us to seek help in every position or whatever we are having difficulty with. The third one, you were ready for a shift, that we should be ready for a shift. We should surround ourselves with the right people because the people that surround us matters, how we survive the things we go through. The fourth one, you said we should celebrate our little wins, the things we take for granted, taking our kids to school, surviving the winter, things like that. We should know how to, we should celebrate it. We shouldn't take anything for granted. We should be intentional. You also talked about setting boundaries. It's very good. You know, when people are not encouraging you, it's not, we should be afraid to change our friend circles if they are not going the same way we are heading. Then you also talked about the benefit of unmasking. The first one was peace of mind. You talked about freedom. You talked about gaining access and also being established. So these are the benefits of unmasking. Finally, what I took away is that unmasking leads to better and fulfillment because our voice needs to be heard. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Coach Ronnie, you are needed on the stage. Coach Ronnie, come up because our guest is still waiting. Yes, there she is.
Wow, wow. I don't know about you. I think today has just been, it feels like we've been to Harvard of emotion, Harvard of learning, in the space of these 2 hours in the morning. And then this time that we've been together. Thank you so much to all the speakers. Thank you to everyone that has been here speaking, the teenagers. This is just, I'm blown away by the vulnerability. Thank you so much, Mrs. Aino. The way you shared your story is so relatable. It's so beautiful. God bless you. God bless you, everyone, for coming out and pouring into us in an authentic way. I feel like we've been schooled in so many ways. God bless you, ma. You are a light to your generation, and I am honored to be in the same space with you. God bless you, ma'am. So we're going to have question and answer section. And honestly, if I am being totally honest, say, you did answer a lot of my questions. You went in, I think you were ready, you were prepared for me. And the way you answered, the way you explained and gave us your story, you've answered a lot of my questions. And it would just be redundant for me to keep repeating those questions when you've answered. But there is one question that just came to my mind when you were speaking. And I want you to speak now to those people. Now, I'm saying those people. When I ask this question, you would understand. My church people, my believers, that woman that is pointing finger at another woman, that is sharing the story of another woman because you have heard a thing or two, please, can you tell them? Can you please help me tell them how we're supposed to be our brother's keeper in a situation like that? You know, you've said the law, but I know it will be better coming from you. Tell them off. This is your unmask with them. Tell them off, please, ma.
Okay, so in my place, for those that are Africans or Nigerians that are listening, they say when you bend down to be looking at somebody's bum bum, you don't know how many are looking at yours. What does that mean? Jesus said, anyone who has not sinned, cast that first stone. It means that even if you have not committed adultery, you have sinned in another way. And just because somebody, you sin differently doesn't make you less of a sinner. As a church people, as Christians, isn't it sad that people mask up because of church people? People of the world don't really mask because they go to the beer parlor, they talk about their problems, and the solution is coming left and right from the beer parlor. You go to church, that is supposed to be a safe space, and it's almost like the world wants to fall on you. If you are that kind of person, please stop. We don't know what tomorrow holds for us. Nobody prays for immigration issues. Nobody prays for marital breakdown. Nobody prays for children to be wayward. Nobody prays for anything negative. And just because it's happening to a fellow sister or a fellow brother, the right thing to do is to hold their hands, to say, I am here for you. You are not alone. Even if it's their fault, even if the problem, they caused it, we are not in the position to judge. It is God's responsibility, not yours. Your own is to listen and to be able to support them. Otherwise, why are we Christians? If we are all righteous, why are we going to church? Just because my own story is out doesn't mean you don't have your story. Christians, we need to start doing better.
That's right.
8 out of 10 women will tell you they can't talk about the immigration. They can't talk about what is happening. Why? Because they're afraid of what the church will say. And it breaks my heart.
It's terrible.
I was telling somebody my marriage breakdown didn't do so bad. I almost committed suicide because of the church. Was that bad. Even when I wanted to start the organization, the pastor was preaching. Oh, I've heard some people want to be wonderfully made. Are they even wonderfully made? What do you think that could have done to me? I have gone to meet a pastor to say, this is my vision, this is what God, and the first thing she will ask me is, you are divorced. How can God use a divorced woman? In Manchester here. So I had to run away. That's why I'm never afraid to lose friends or family members. So the church has to do a lot. We are not broken. In a place where there is so much competition, self-righteousness, who is without sin? No one. So just because that person's sin is out, all you want to do is gossip. What does that even do for you? How does that make you progress? Today is, by next month, is 14 years in Wonderfully Made Woman. I can count how many people who laughed at me then, who are now single mothers. Nobody knows what tomorrow holds. Nobody. We only pray for good things, but then challenges will come. So we need to be careful. Wow. I know a woman who so much stigmatized me, and her only daughter was going through exactly what I went through.
Wow.
Years later.
Wow.
And they were right in my office. So please, church people, before you bend down to look at someone, you don't know how many will be looking at you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma. You said that so beautifully, so beautifully. It's not just because yours is covered today doesn't mean you are better than anyone. And you have heard my church sister and my church brother. See, let's be careful. Let's be careful. Stigmatizing and victimizing someone because of their current situation. You don't know what is ahead for you. You might think you have prepared, your own is a love story, or your own immigration. In fact, you got your British passport from Nigeria, or whatever situation, or your health, you run, you jog, you have everything under control, but you don't know what is ahead. Be careful. And we are supposed to be Christ follower. Jesus Christ never judged anyone. He never judged, even the one that did the thing. They brought a woman, that has been in adultery. They brought, and Jesus said, "Where are the people who accused you, woman? Because I didn't, I don't accuse, I didn't accuse you." So we have to be careful. Thank you so much for sharing that story. Now, Coach Sonia, I want to come to you because I have a question for you. So, thinking about everything that we've shared today and some of the things that our children have also shared with us, our teenagers, honestly, they were really, really fantastic. Please say thank you to every single one of them. God bless you guys. And I pray more wisdom for them. He says, when we observe that we are parenting from our trauma, because somebody raised a question in the comment section saying most parents, they are not doing it intentionally. They are only doing what they themselves, have been shown or how they were raised. So when we observe, maybe because we've been in a beautiful conference, an enlightening conference like this, and we observe that we're parenting from trauma, and we know the impact that is having on our relationship and the children that we're bringing forth. How do we change that? What will you say is the first thing that we can do to turn around? Because we don't want to keep going round the circles. How do we change that?
Thank you very much, Ronnie. I grew up in a place where everything, as in when you know that things are serious, the voice will go up. If you have been told to do things and you do not hear, it's like, like this shouting will come. And I observed that over and over. And gradually, when I became a mother, I was a shouter. If you notice, I said I was a shouter. So when I repeat things over, can you pick your toy? Pick your toy. Can you take that toy off the floor? Can you? And then the voice goes up. And then one day my daughter told me, when you shout out of the blue, there was no shouting going on. She just turned around and looked at me and said, Mommy, when you shout sometimes, I switch off. I don't hear you anymore. I said, I didn't. She said, I switch off. I don't hear you anymore. I was like, what? You mean you don't even, you said, no, I switch off. So what that means is that I was destroying my vocal cords. I was destroying my voice. I was having headache. And the person I thought it was impacting or maybe, getting her attention. She said she switched off. That hit me really hard. She was still a teenager. Now she's 17. She was still a toddler like me, just in primary school. So I started helping myself gradually. And then I gave them permission. So the first thing is to accept. There are some mothers, when they give you feedback, especially when it's coming from your children, you defend and you have excuse. Keep quiet there. What is wrong with you? You're being disrespectful. We hide everything in the guise of disrespectful. So we need to accept it, acknowledge it. And that's what I did. Was it easy? No, it was painful for me to listen to. But then I realized that it was not working. And then I gave them permission. I said, whenever mommy raised her voice, just say, Mommy, you are shouting again. There's a reset. It was like a reset in my head. Immediately I hear that word, Mommy, you are shouting again. I said, oh, but I've told you many times, you see my voice going down. So give your children permission to hold you accountable. Or give your spouse to hold you accountable. But it will be better for the person that has observed and is at the receiving end to hold you accountable, because they will be the one that will be there. So whatever parenting you are doing, if you are paranoid, if you are always assuming and everything, give that person permission to hold you accountable. And when you are held accountable, when they tell you, take it as a feedback and you keep working at it. Keep working at it. And now, even my oldest is telling me, because my youngest is 7, the oldest is 17. And then she goes, Mommy, you've changed so much. Ah, Mommy, you've changed so much. That's what she keeps telling me. She's having it easy. You changed so much. That's because I spent time and I invested in myself. I find other ways to communicate. Or maybe just turn my face, give them time. And then I come back to it again. And then I said, I did tell you to do this. So the shouting is not there anymore. So you have to be aware. So acknowledge, right? Once it's been identified, accept it, behold, and then let people hold you accountable, and just keep trying and trying and trying. The more you try, the more you practice, the better you become. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That is spot on.
Oh, one more thing. One more
Okay.
thing. And please, parents, let's not be prideful. If we slip to our old ways, excuse me, apologize. I don't remember my parents apologizing to me. They didn't apologize to me. They're like, hey, you should have listened. Hey, you know, I was like, but you did this. No, you should have. So come. Oh, yeah, come is enough. But they will say sorry. But me, I'm very quick to say sorry. So if they say, Mommy, you've done it, I say, I'm sorry. Can you please just go and do it now? So I apologize. So if you slip, be compassionate on yourself and just apologize and try again. Just keep at it.
Yeah. And again, it's modeling. You're modeling to them that they can, fail at things or not keep their words, but, they can try again. You're modeling that nobody's perfect. You're modeling how they themselves will become. This is such an important conversation. Emotional maturity, as Africans, I want to say Nigerians, but as Africans, we hide behind, we don't deal with emotions, but we have emotions. God gave us emotions, and just learning how to modulate and moderate and take away and hard and behave, is just an emotional intelligence that every human being need to have. And many of us, just as a point that I want to add, many of us, we hide under the disguise that we are Africans and we don't know how to work well with our emotions. But you go to work and you actually you sit straight. You don't go there and shout when you work with someone that is way younger than you, or someone that is the mate of your children. You apologize when you're wrong because it's in an official space or something like that. So this is very, very important. Thank you for saying that. And my next question is for Madam Eino. I like to call you lady, and I don't know which one I'm allowed to say it, but it's just because I see MB, behind your name, and I feel like there is an accolade I need to add to it, and not just not just let that go. Like I said, we are honored to have you. So there's a question here from a single woman who said that, she said, I am a single parent. I can't blend with the young adults. I can't blend with the married women in my religious community. And it is very, very frustrating. How do I build my support network to prevent isolation?
Okay, thank you. It's a common question anyway, especially from women that are Christians, because if you even look at the church programs, you see that there's a marriage seminar or single seminar. There is none for single parents, right? So you are just in between. Even Valentine, they will say marriage seminar or people who want to. What of those who don't want to, who are in the middle? I've always said one thing, just because you go to church doesn't necessarily mean that your friends should be church members. Yes, it's easier to make friends from the church, but it's not always compulsory that they have to be your church members. So if you're finding it difficult to blend, maybe because of what they say or how they see themselves, I've been in a group before, and when they want to introduce themselves is, hello, I am Mrs. This, the wife of da 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 da. I went the first time and the second time. That was years ago. By the time they asked me to come the third time, I didn't go. Even though most of them were my friends in the same church, I didn't go. Why? Because I did not fit in. All they were talking about is their husband. Is me. I didn't have husband. So what did I do? I look for people like me. There will always be somebody like you. That is not to say all married women don't support single mothers. No. There will always be one or two that understand, maybe because they've been there before, or they have family members or friends that have been there before. But the truth is, if you have never been a single parent or associated with them, you can never understand them. So it will be difficult to mingle with them really. So I will say, how many hours do you go to church anyway? How many hours is church program? You can actually be by yourself. Salutation is not that you must bond. You can greet them. Maybe you're in the same department, choir, ushering, whatever. You can talk, have a chat, and it ends there. Find closer friendship outside of the space. Thankfully, if you're in this country, there's so many organizations where they don't judge. Or if you're going to work, your colleagues are there. I built a network of friendship that became even like sisters in my workplace years ago. That relationship still exists up till now, even after I left that place, I think 2014. So anywhere you are not accepted, anywhere you're not comfortable, nobody has tied you there. You can look for friendship elsewhere. Most importantly, learn to be by yourself and be comfortable as well. What if everybody doesn't want you? What would you do? And maybe your good friends are not even in that church. Maybe they are not even Christians. Maybe they're just that colleague that sits beside you. So I totally can relate to her this thing because I've been there before, but all I did was to look for friendship outside of that space to give yourself peace of mind.
Wow.
Otherwise you'll be forcing yourself, you get pained, anger comes in, and they said if you're a born again Christian, the pastor used to say, it's not adultery or fornication that God will use to hold, devil will use to hold you. You see that bitterness, that anger, it's something we do sometimes without even knowing how deep it is. So please look for friendship outside of your church if you're not comfortable or they're not comfortable with you.
Well, thank
That's
you
what
very
I
much.
advise here.
Thank you very much, ma. Thank you for saying that. Look for friendship outside of your church, outside of the circle, create your own friendship and just, be happy with yourself as well. Until you get those friends, be happy alone. Learn to be happy by yourself. These are very important points. Go to circles that, understands your struggle, understands what you're going through. Don't force yourself into a space just because you want to, keep with friends that knows you from church. Thank you. These are all very practical points as well. So my next question is for Coach Sonia. So you explained this a lot as well in the I think it was in the morning session when you were talking about how relocation can really affect and magnify some problems, unresolved trauma and things like that. So how can we start taking steps? How can we, since we have acknowledged some of the problems that can exist as a result of that change, like you mentioned in the morning, you said it was unmasking some of the pains of relocation that we never want to talk about. Everybody just want to celebrate the fact that we now live in the abroad, right? But how can we now begin to take simple steps to resolve some of the trauma that we have now picked up maybe as a result of relocation or traumas that we had before that has now been magnified, right? So how can we begin to unmask them, resolve them, so that we can live an harmonious life?
Thank you very much. We have to be ready to be vulnerable. We have to start from a place of vulnerability. And know that, because I found out that a lot of our people, we find it really difficult to be vulnerable, because you don't want people to laugh at you, because you don't want people to gossip about you, because there's a lot of because. So let's be ready to be vulnerable. And people bond with you more. The real people bond with you more in your state of vulnerability. It's the fake one that will be revealed when you get vulnerable. So let's be ready with that. Also, we need to learn to seek help. There are some trauma that has been triggered because of unresolved deep traumas. So that one needs to be resolved. So seek support. There are loads of services. You can go for counseling. You can go for group talking therapy as well. It helps a lot, knowing that you are not the only one that has experienced that pain, and just learning from one another, using the tools that will be shared in the session. It goes a long way. Then the third one is be ready to do the work, because we know that these things has happened and it has left a mark. But if you have a physical injury and you go to the hospital, you are treated, we both know that it's insufficient. You now have to treat that wound. You have to make sure it is clean and you put the necessary treatment, else it can be infected even though you've been to the hospital. So you now need to do the right thing and be consistent with it. And the days that you miss the mark, be compassionate with yourself. And another thing again is learn to build support system. Nobody is an island of his or herself. Build support system that will help you. You hear what Mama Ino said. She said when she has helped the women and sometimes she gets overwhelmed, then she will call and say, I need support myself. In counseling, you call it supervision. Every counselor have to go for supervision. Because when people are pouring on you, it doesn't matter how strong you are. There are some things that will trigger your own emotions. And you feel, there's some people that are big empaths, whereby when other people are feeling bad, they grab their energy. They feel so empathetic towards the person, right? And it drains their energy. So this is why you now go for supervision. So I would say you need to also make sure that you build a support system, so that the days that you feel like, oh, today something happened, I don't really have the energy, I just need a bit of support. It might be support in picking your children up. It might be support in helping with one or two things. It helps a lot. So have a support system. Please don't be a pest. Some people build support systems so they can use other people. As you are taking, also give. When this hand wash this hand and this hand wash this hand, both hands becomes clean. So if you want to have a support system, also be a support system to your own support system as well. It is so important. And another thing again is, remember, it is not a quick race. You did not experience that trauma today. It left a big wound. Give it time and trust the process and be consistent with it. And time, they say, heal the wound, but a wound that was not treated cannot be healed. So give it time and keep on making that adjustment. And the last but not the least is renew your mind. Go for self-development. Some people, they are just doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. It's not possible. Go for self-development. Be self-aware, be mindful, be observant, know your triggers, and know how to manage it per time. And before you know it, you will be good and take responsibility for your healing, because nobody will do it for you but you. All right, thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. That was really packed. Nobody's coming to save you except you. take responsibility for your healing. And almost everything you shared sounds like what Mama did share in her share: vulnerability. Accept where you are today. Say to yourself, this is where I have found myself. I love how Mama says it when she was speaking. She was saying how she calls herself, hey, this is where you are. I will never forget that voice and the way you said it, Ma. Hey, this is where you are. Thank you so much. And I have a final question. Our time is fast spent, but I'm just going to give Mama this final question, and I hope you can, do it justice in about a minute. This person said, domestic abuse has turned me into a shadow of myself. How can I break the shame without feeling like I am dishonoring my family?
At some point, you may have to dishonor your family, because if you die, nobody's going to go to the grave with you. Nobody went with Osinachi. Your families are not the one that are being affected directly. And honestly, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Even if you were covering up before, there is still nothing to be ashamed of. Like I said when I was talking, if you need help, talk to Sonia. We can help you. There is help for you. I've been there before, and so many people have been there before. You can still come out. You can still be renewed. Don't hide. How long are you going to hide? How long are you going to, compress your dreams because of what has happened to you? You can change that. You can change the narrative and become a better version of you. I'm so sorry you had to go through domestic abuse, but there is help available. I don't know if you live in Manchester, wherever you are, there is help. There is nothing to be ashamed of. It's like somebody came to steal your food, and you are the one ashamed that they came to steal your food. Somebody has abused you. Why are we ashamed? It's happened to a lot of people, including myself. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We can help you, and you can bounce back. A lot of people have bounced back. So I'm really praying that you're able to step out to say, you know what? Yes, I'm going to unmask. I'm going to break that silence, What's the worst that can happen? They laugh at you and say you're not a Proverb 31 woman. Then what? It's not going to take anything from you, It can even make God can do it in such a way that you become someone helping other people. I always say everything that has happened to people in their lives, somehow God has a way of turning it around. So please seek help. We are here for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Seek help. There is nothing new under the sun. You shouldn't be the one carrying the burden of the shame. The fact that you got in a relationship and is abusive is not your fault. Seek help. Thank you so much. God bless you, Ma. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your words of wisdom. Thank you for pouring out. Thank you for being unashamed. Thank you for being real. You brought your authentic self, and I'm sure many people would connect with you in that way, as I surely did. God bless you, Ma. And we appreciate your presence. Thank you. Thank you, Coach Sonia, for this opportunity, for the platform, for the whole event. It's just been amazing. So I'm just going to very quickly give everyone that is still here, what is on offer from the organization of Coach Sonia. We've been talking about being rooted and being connected, living an harmonious life. As a family, nobody, no matter where you are today, irrespective of what trauma you grew up with or what circumstance is in your family, everybody wants a peaceful life. Everybody wants a family, that is connected, well connected, where there is something on offer for the kids, and what is on offer for them is harmonious living. You all want a life where your kids can talk to you, you can talk to them, you can connect. But we know that sometimes the things that have been built in us, the way we've been raised, they get in the way. And as a parent, you want the best for your children, you want the best for your family, you want a peaceful home. That is your desire. You want an understanding children, understanding spouse. But real connections require more than just love. It requires more than just talking about it, especially when you know that you've grown up in a place where there is trauma, there's been trauma, there's been pain. So Coach Sonia has gladly curated a course, that can help you stay rooted and connected to the blueprint of what your family needs. So in this online course, you will find how to learn each other's love language. And when I say that, it's not just you and your spouse love language, it is understanding even your children's love language. What do my children like? How do I get to them? Because if you don't speak their love language, it might be difficult to really get across. Like the example Coach Sonia gave when her daughter said, "Mommy, when you shout, I switch off." At that point, nobody is listening to one another, and all she's doing is shouting. So to identify personalities, temperament, to reduce misunderstanding, to discover your family's character strength, to build meaningful family vision, mission, and value, to break negative patterns and create emotional safety at home. All of these things can be achieved and you can break them. If you're listening right now, you can click on the link that is going in front of your screen and just see what this course have to offer you and your family. And just for today, it is 50% off whatever amount that it is there. It's an investment that when you make in your family, you will come back and say, thank you for giving me the opportunity to invest. So please don't be like those people who like to hear good things, and when it's time to be involved in the good things, to be in a place where they are actually partaker of it, where they now have to sow something into it, they start complaining. Okay, you know that you've been here all day, you were in the morning session and the evening session, and you heard a lot of good things. So just imagine what is there to gain when you connect with this course. So please click on the link and subscribe to this course. It's an online course. You don't need to go anywhere, but it's a course, especially as we're going into the new year. This might be the time where you actually do the work of what it takes to get your family to where it needs to be. This might be the time where you sit down and say, I am not happy with the situation of things, but I'm not just going to be somebody who talks about not being happy, but I'm going to be someone who actually do something about not being happy. Okay, being calm, creating peaceful and harmonious home. There are things you can learn. There are skills you can master. There are ways you can create it. They don't just fall on us, right? But there are things that you can learn to get there. So I am begging you, I am asking you, I am employing you to please click on the link as you see it on your screen, okay? Because you do get a 50% off on the course for today. Thank you so very much. Coach Sonia, are you there?
I am here.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
You very much. Thank you very much, Ronnie. You have been super amazing. Thank you very much.
So
Angel, thank you so much for anchoring, the second session. I really do appreciate you. Thank you very much. Mama, thank you, all the speakers. Pastor Adeso Akashuku, God bless you. I appreciate you, and I really do celebrate you. Lady Mo, thank you very much. Ebere, thank you very much. Thank you so much. And who else has spoken today? I'm trying to think. Lady D, thank you very much, for making this possible. Mama Aino has told me, he said, this thing has to be physical the next time. She's not the first person that is saying it. You've done this thing online, Sonia. It's time to come out and also put this thing physical. Yes, and please, when you're online, don't worry. We can do it in such a way that you will have the physical, but you can hear it online. So that is what we are praying towards. For those of you that register for this, you will get a feedback link. Please do well to read it well, because you will see the link to join the WhatsApp group for Resilience Bridge Sick. So we are going to be using this for school advocacy. If you want to know more about school advocacy for your children, we're going to be helping you with that. And also for your mental, emotional, and physical well-being, we are going to be doing different webinars, and we are going to be sharing useful information, bringing trainers in to come and speak to you as well. So it's not one of those groups that will be spamming you. It's the one that will help you grow. Remember, before you make your New Year resolution, you need to add this to it, your personal development. What are you going to do to ensure that you personally develop this year and you do not remain the same? You have to renew your mind, and the only way you can renew your mind is when you are investing in your knowledge, you are applying it as well as you get along. The third knowledge is wisdom, but applied knowledge, that's what I call it, is what is wisdom. So make sure you get the course as well. I think when you convert it to pounds, is about 19.99 or so. That is a very, very good price. Grab it, look at it, and find a way on how to create, systems and structures for your family the way you do in your business and in your organization. I would have loved to say I will see you next year, but next year, Positive Intentional Diaspora Parenting Conference will be around November 14th. However, it's not going to be annually now. We are going to be doing those webinars, and we have the final big ones in November 2026. So thank you so much for joining us. I celebrate you all the participants. Patience, please send your address to me so I can send you my book. Because you have been very, very active. There was someone that was very active again in the evening. Patience was active as well, but there was someone else. I can't remember the name now. But thank you so much, and God bless. So bye for now.